Well, good evening. The Who's today were on at Canterbury. The track was slow. It was a dead five, upgraded to a dead four. It was about right. The rail was 8 metres out. It was, well, the sales were on today, of course, at Inglis's, and there was a very, very poor crowd there. Just the usual suspects. And it reminds me of a poem that's on my website. It's called the Only Game in Town, and it goes like this. I know you, devil, says Billy Markham, from many a dingy place, but you always spoke in a different voice and wore a different face. While me, I've gambled on Hustler's Row with gentlemen and with whores, and hell, I ain't afraid to roll those devilly dice of yours. Well then, get down, says the devil, just as if you're going to pray, and take these dice in your luckless hand, and I'll tell you how the game is played. You get one roll, and you bet your soul, and if you roll 13 you win, and all the joys of flesh and gold are yours to touch and spend. But if that 13 don't come up, then kiss your ass goodbye, and will your useless bones to God, 'cause your goddamn soul is mine. 13, said Billy Markham. Hell, I've played in tougher games. I've loved ambitious women, and I've rode on wheelless trains. So give me room, you stinking fiend, and I'll let it all unwind. Nobody ever rolled a 13 yet, but this might be the time. Then Billy Markham, he takes the dice, and they feel as heavy as stones. They should, says the devil, 'cause they're carved from Jesus' bones. And Billy Markham, he turns the dice, and the dice, they have no spots. I'm sorry, says the devil, but they're the only dice I got. Well, shit, said Billy Markham. Now, I really don't mean to bitch, but I never thought I'd stake my roll in a sucker's game like this. Well then, walk off, says the devil. Nobody's tied you down. Walk off where, said Billy Markham. It's the only game in town. And that's how the races are becoming. It's getting very devilish out there. Today, a couple of races where there was very little percentage to play with, and no customers to bet with. Don't know what's going to happen. Now, this first race, well, there was no, look, after the first two races, when the two leaders won, and well, we were all starting to say to ourselves, is the fence the place? Is it going to be Harold Park, Wentworth Park? It didn't turn out that way. You could come from behind and win, as other races, other winners happened in later races. Now, this first race, I said there was 108.1 on the screen. There's about 5 less in the marketplace, about 103. We put it up at Evans, the winner, Studio, who went straight to the lead, ridden by Nash. It got out to $2.20 on the fence, back into Evans, but then back out to $2.10 towards the finish. And the stablemate, it ran second. It was on his back all the way, Cool Claim, and it went up to $2.80 second pick. And it got out to $4, plenty of it at the finish of betting. The only other firmer in the race, besides the favourite, was Peck, number 3. It had every possible. It settled down last. It ran along the fence into third hole. It opened up $7, got out to 9, started $7.50. The winner won by a length and a half. Had control, had an easy time up in front, and that's what won the race. Race 2. There was only 97.3 on the screen, and there was only 93.5 in the marketplace. These were the flux. Chestnut Road went from $4 out to $5. Comenji went from $3.50 to $4.60. Excited Prince didn't have a name, and it came from last along the fence to be beaten half a length. Went from $4 to $7.50. Penometer, Pentometer, it went from $8 out to $12. The winner, blow your mind, $6.50 out to $7 into $6 hard to get. Taken towards the death of betting. Emperor's Bouquet went from 20 out to 30, back into about $18, $19. And the bottom one here, Masarora, it was $7.50, $8 given. It started only $4.80, extremely well backed. It ran third, had every possible chance. The pumper took blow your mind straight to the lead, and he controlled the race. He finished up winning by half a length from the Excited Prince, the blower in the market, who ran along the fence and getting a suck along the fence from barrier one, holding on to third, having every possible chance, was the well-backed Masora. That was about the race. No need to say any more. The next race, there was 103.8 on the screen, only 100 in the marketplace, and this was won by the Avery, Ecuador, or Equator. It opened up a shade of odds on 10 to 9 on, and got out to plenty of evens, $2.10, which was taken back into evens, but got back out to $2.10 towards the finish of betting. There was a good bit of pace up front. Its stablemate, Equator, Flying Sebring, who it went straight to the lead today. It led with Anasheed, who pulled up with a heart problem, and it was eased down in the run and finished along last. They went along in front and getting a good card up behind them, coming halfway after they got out of the back straight and halfway around the circle, was the favourite, Equator. And when the two leaders started to get a bit, just a little bit of a stitch coming to the turn, Nash on the winner, he moved up and got to the lead, and he went away. Once he got to the lead, he had the race after they flattened out safely in his keeping. He won by 1.3 lengths, and coming from well back in the field were the stablemates Gallatin, and having its first start, and Tupac Amoro, both of them copping checks at the start. One of them wanting to lay in, and that was Gallatin, and both of them making up a lot of ground. They were back in Kayaki there at one stage. They were back in third and back in the second last and last position. They would have had to have been a good, I'd say, 12 plus lengths off the lead. And as I say, they made up plenty of ground. And they got along in front, and that's about all you would say there. Race 4, there was 103.2 on the screen, and that was about the same in the marketplace, maybe just a little bit less. The winner, it was possibly a result for the captains this race. This winner, Snitsky, who had the hood back on today, it opened up $4, but it was reached for, and there was plenty of $6 when they jumped, and it got a very good run in third position. It went straight to the lead, Master Gaze. It only knows one thing, and so does the rider, Serge Lindsay. I was talking to another captain today, Serge Lindsay, the day that he copped the suspension at Gosford. He was, I think it was Gosford, he was leading on a runner, and of course something moved up on his outside, and they started to get along really fast. So he said, "Oh, this is not going to suit this runner here," and he eased and let the other runner go around. And the Stipes, I think they might have given him 2 months for handing up the lead. He doesn't hand up the lead anymore. Every time he throws his leg over a runner, it's 100 mile an hour out in front. They showed him what to do. Of course, they've taught him some bad tricks there, haven't they? And he came straight across on. he came straight across on Master Gaze, set a very fast pace. Quick's the word, had every possible chance. It showed its true colours today, and it was running second and getting a good suck. Looking at the pair was the winner, Stitsky, and they were really spread out in this race. Like with one stage there after they'd gone out of the back straight, the leader was leading by 2 lengths, and another 2 lengths to the third horse, Stitsky, and another 2 or a bit further to Tarabunda, and then another break to the rest of the field. They were really spread out, and as I say, the winner got a good run and finished up winning by 1.3 lengths, and coming from about 4th last position, making up a lot of ground, was Next to the Universe, who was resuming today. So the run the winner got, I suppose, was, and it was always going to be up near the lead, was the deciding factor in this race. Race 5, they said there was 103.8 on the screen, 102 in the marketplace, and this was won by the visitor from down south from Melbourne, Seismo. Always firm in the betting, even though it got out. It opened up $3.50 and was reached for by the captains. It got out to start. No, I never ever saw $5, but plenty of $4.80. These were the flux in this race. Fullerton, it was extremely well backed. After opening up about $9, it got out to $11. It only started $6.50. It was extremely well backed. And Taylor Lovelock Wiggins, he made sure there was plenty of pace in this race, getting off the fence up the back straight when they were really getting along, making sure that Nash never had a picnic on City of Light. And after taking City of Light on, he held on very well for Fullerton, but City of Light, it also showed its true colours, not with Adina. It dropped right out. Now, the next runner, Keola, well, it never had a price. It only went from $8 out to $26. Mr. Edison, $9 out to $13. Namsari, 16 out to 21. Seismo, I've told you. City of Light went up $3.50. I bet $3.70 towards the end of betting. Started $3.50 or 60. Landlock, it was $10 out to 11, back into about $10. Dal Zero, 16 out to 19. Slivovitz, it was 16 out to 21, taken back into 20. And leading, it was $10 out to $13 given, back into about $9.50. It led, as I said, City of Light from barrier 1. I own the lead. Early in the piece, Keola came across. Also, Dal Zero was up there wide, and behind them was Fullerton, and they ran along all the way in this race, a true run race, and and the winner was in 5th position, getting a good look at them, and it found the line fairly strongly, winning by 1.3 lengths and running second in the race after getting a good suck up into about from just behind the pace, more or less, was leading, and it ran second, and coming from 3rd last down the outside was Namsarai, and it held on well, Fullerton, considering the pace and it ran 4th, beaten only about 1.5 lengths or so, considering the pace that they went. But the winner, it was a fairly good, strong win. Race 6, this was won by the very consistent, now having 3 starts and winning its 3 starts, Rock Magic. It won at Scone, and then now its last 2 at Canterbury. And there was pace on here all the way as well. Now, this race here, there's a huge discrepancy in what you could have got and what was actually bet. They said there was 101.4 on the screen, but I only got to about 90. Now, these were the flux. What I saw, specific choice was $3.50 out to $4, which I don't think appeared on the screen. I did bet 9,000 to 3,000 in one stage. It only started $3.50. Blazing Schnitzel, now it didn't have a price. It went from $4 to $7.50. It came across and led on the fence. I own the lead, went very fast. The winner, Rock Magic, after opening up about a $4 chance, it wouldn't sit in the flux, got to $4.20, but it only started $3.20, extremely hard to get. Very well backed. Swift Succession went from $8 out to 13, back into about $12. Swipe Line, it was 16 out to 21, taken into about 19. Time to Excite, who got trapped 3 wide back in the field, showed its true colours. It ran last beaten 10 lengths, but it was wide, but it was still a poor effort. You wouldn't see it. I gave $10. It was $10 on the fence as well, and it only started $6.50. Now, you wouldn't see the flux of the next 3 runners either. Zandretta, it was 16 out to 41. Magondo was 17 out to 21, to 41. And the bottom one, San Diego, who ran a slashing race coming from last down the outside, finding the line better than any runner, would have been a huge result for the captains, getting into 3rd position. 3rd hole, it was 30 out to $101. We only gave about 90% in this race, and the winner was the favourite. It was a terrible result for the captains. Very hard to win on it. And as I said, Blazing Schnitzel, it led, and looking at it and getting to its outside on the turn was the winner, Rock Magic. It was thereabouts. Swift Succession, and getting trapped wide back in the run was Time to Excite, and they got down to the line, and it held on too strongly. Rock Magic, from who coming from 3rd last or 4th last in between runners, running a good race, resuming was Specific Choice, and as I said, easing off heels, never had an uninterrupted run, San Diego, but it ran a very good race for 100 to 1 chance, getting into 3rd hole, knocking out the leader for that position, Blazing Schnitzel, who had gone, he velodromed on it, Nash, coming across from a wide alley to find the lead, but the pace was on all the way. Then we came to the lucky last, and again, the figures were disgraceful. On the screen, it only said, it's too late to call the fraud squad, it's the last race, robots, 98.4, but in the marketplace, only about 93%. Now, these were the flux. Cinder Rockenrella, it only went from $4 out to $7 taken, back into $6.50. Medusa's Miss, the winner, the starting favourite, it went from $6 out to $7, only started $4.60. Annabelle's never had a price. It went from $4.60 out to $7, back to $6.50. So I suppose if you gave it $7, you lay it. Silk Pins, well backed, from $8.50 into $6.50. Emirates Art, I did see $12, but we won't count that, but plenty of $11 Emperor's Art. Houston Benefactor, $12 given. They took 11, they took 10, it only started $9. Midnight Mix didn't have a price, and you wouldn't see this on the flux. It went from a $6 chance out to as much as $12 given, but started $10. Elva Time, the winner, 15 out to 18 or 19 taken, back into about $17 or $18. In the money, 17 out to 21, back into about $14 or $15. And Tempo Rouge, who led them up, it went from 50 out to 61. How did they race? They raced in pairs except for one runner, Houston Benefactor, who got trapped 3 wide in the run. The winner was in the 1-1 position. He just eased. It led on the fence. Tempo Rouge came across. It sat on its outside. Annabelle's on the fence. Cinder Rockenrella, who got held up slightly but wouldn't have won if it, even if it would have got clear. On its outside, the winner, Elva Time, and tucked away 3rd on the fence, Medusa's Miss, who also got held up but wouldn't have won if it would have got out. On its outside, Silk Pins, it got also squeezed up, looking for a run after they'd flattened out, which should have finished a bit closer, a good bit closer, I'd say. Houston Benefactor, it's run, it's only been beaten under 2 lengths, running about 5th, or yes, about 5th position. It was wide all the way, so its run was all right. Then we had Midnight Mix, who settled down in second last position, eased off heels and came widest in the turn to just fail by 0.3 of a length. And inside it was Emirates Art, who had every possible chance, but did miss the kick from an inside alley. And who's left? Oh, yes, In the Money. It was eased at the, well, copped a bit of a check, they say, at the start, but then was eased back to last position from a wide alley to the fence, and then was held up fairly badly down the straight. I suppose it should have finished closer as well. Run this race over again and you would get a lot of different results. The first 7 horses across the line, there was only 2.2 lengths between them. As I say, run it again and you would get a different result. And that was about the meeting. I was talking to someone there today, and of course, what I was raving on about on Saturday, the BMW, the $2.2 million race, and one of our good judges at the races, he said you could go anywhere in the world in a $2.2 million race, and the leader in the race, if you back the leader of the race, you might as well tear your ticket up because for the simple reason they say no, you just can't. You're not going to be up there if that the dangling the carrot in front of you, the 2.2 million at the end of this race. You've got to actually, if you want to go to the lead, you've got to earn it. But that doesn't happen in Sydney. You know, of course, the Stites have got a map, and if anything's out of, I think anything out of play to what their map is, there's questions asked. Oh, you go, wait there, no, wait. You got, fancy having to tell anybody where you're going to be in a race. I think it's completely wrong. I think the first day that then it gets challenged in, if it happened to get challenged, and trainers or connections said, no, look, we're not actually telling you. We pay the food bill here and whatever, and you know, we're out there trying to win this race, but we don't have to show our hand to the general public. They've got nothing to do with paying our bills. We want to give ourselves every opportunity to not only get the prize money, but if we bet, we want to have an advantage. If we bet, it's a race. It's a race. You know, you don't. What are all the races? Yacht races. There's and there's betting on all these things. And other races, sports races. Running races? Do you have to declare how you're going to run your race before you go ahead? In horse racing in Australia, I know what you can't. You got to tell us. You got to tell us. Anyway, everyone has different views. A lot of people have the same views as I do. Anyway, the Hooves run at Hawkesbury tomorrow. I'm not going to say anything tomorrow night. And of course, we have Black Caviar racing on Saturday, and of course a bit of Black Caviar apparently has drawn barrier 1, got the inside alley. I suppose, well, they've got to put her in first. She's got the and of course the horse that plays up in barrier 2 has got the barrier blanket on. Will it go into barrier 2 straight after? I suppose they've got to. And where will they have the barriers? Will barrier 1 be on the fence, or will it be like last time when she raced there, the inside barrier 1 was nowhere near the fence? Now she's got barrier 1. The barriers have got to be near the fence, so when she jumps out, she hasn't got 8 horses, or there's 7 or 6 horses inside where there's no space. She's got to have barrier 1. She's got to be first in, and I'm hoping she wins. I don't want to see her get defeated, but to make it all fair and square, she's got to go in first naturally, drawing barrier 1, and also the barriers have got to be near the 18 pence. You can't have the barriers way out away from the fence. We'll see what happens on Saturday. Good evening.